timeout today. Hopefully you're listening to this while you're watching it. It's going to be a pretty quick video. It's a lot of vocabulary, not a lot of new stuff, a little bit of review, a couple of new things. Remember, when you finish, you're going to work on the worksheet. When you finish the worksheet, then you can work on your units, your end of your project assignments. So the Unit 7 assignments and 7.1 and both 7.2 assignments are due Monday by 7 a.m. But you can work ahead of that too. So if you find that you've got extra time, go ahead and work when you work ahead. That way maybe you'll get to turn it in on the 16th and get your 10 extra credit points. Okay, so we're going to learn a lot of vocabulary. We're going to learn how to calculate payments on credit cards, and talk about payment dates, affecting interest, and all that. Once again, this is going to go quick, but you can pause so you can keep up. So one of the key terms is credit cards. That's the name of the section. It's a tool that allows a holder to make purchases and pay for them later, and they could call it a portable loan. Impulse buying means that you didn't really plan on buying it, but you saw something and you just bought it without really thinking it through. Sometimes it's a good decision, sometimes it's not. You got to be careful about impulse buying. It can get some people in trouble, especially if has a big price tag on it. There are two types of credit card accounts. One is a revolving charge account, and one is, and that's what most credit cards are. And in this case, the entire bill does not need to be paid each month. There is a minimum monthly payment that you have to pay, and a finance charge covering any of the balance that you don't pay. If you pay it all, you don't pay the finance charge, but you might pay a fee. It depends on the card. A charge card is a little bit different than a revolving charge account. These monthly bills have to be paid in full every month, and there's usually no interest, but there could be a fee of some sort. An example that most people might have heard of would be an American Express charge card. Both types of accounts, the revolving credit account and the charge account, are covered by some protections provided by the government. Truth in Lending Act protects your card if it's lost or stolen, but you may be partially responsible for charges on your card if it's stolen. The maximum liability is $50. The Fair Credit Billing Act is another thing that protects you, and it protects you if there are errors on your statement. So if the credit card company or the charge account company makes a mistake, you are not penalized. And the last one is the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, and it keeps creditors from harassing you to collect the amount you owe. Even if you owe it, they're not allowed to harass you to get the payment. All right. Frank lost his credit card at a local mall, and he notified his creditor before the card was used. However, late in the day, someone found the card and charged $700 on it. How much is Frank responsible for paying? Well, remember, we have protections to cover that, so he's not responsible for any of it because he reported that it was lost before they had time to use the card, and that is covered under the Truth in Lending Act. So both of the types of credit accounts that we talked about, the revolving credit and the charge account, have finance charges or may have finance charges depending on when you pay the balance or partial balance. The interest and the finance charge is interest that is charged to a buyer when paying for a purchase or service over time, so if you don't pay it all at once. And the average daily balance is the amount that you owe, the average of the amount you owe each day of your billing cycle. We're going to talk more about that next. Remember, I'm kind of moving fast, but you can pause this and fill in so you can keep up. Credit card company issues a monthly statement. Therefore, APR, or the annual percentage rate, must be converted to a monthly periodic rate. We've done this before. If the annual rate is 21.6%, you can find the monthly interest rate by dividing that annual interest rate by 12. There's 12 months in a year. Annual means 1 year. So in this case, if the annual percentage rate is 21.6, you divide it by the number of months, and it's a 1.8% monthly interest rate. And you can go the other way. If they give you the monthly rate, you could tell them what the APR or the annual percentage rate is by multiplying by 12. And so if they tell you that the monthly, multiply by 12, and then your APR would be 16.2%. So average daily balance is what this one example is talking about. Rebecca did not pay last month's credit card bill in full. Below is a list of Rebecca's daily balances for her last billing cycle. So for the first 7 days, and this billing cycle has 30 days in it. So some have 30, some have 31. I think there may even be some that have 28. You can look on your statement and see how many days are in your billing cycle. So for the first 7 days of the billing cycle, she owed $456. For the next 3 days, she owed $1177.60. For the next 6 days after that, she owed $990.08. For the 9 days after that, she owed $2,115.15. For the last 5 days of the month, she owed $2,309.13. So if we want to find the average daily balance on your credit, for your revolving credit or charge account, billing cycle total divided by the number of days in the billing cycle, that will give you the average daily balance. So if we want to find Rebecca's average daily balance, for the first 7 days, it was $456. For the next, for 3 days, it was $1177, so you can see here. So if you do that math and divide by 30, 7 times this, plus 3 times that, plus 6 times that, plug all that in your calculator. You can use your decimal calculator so you can see. Divide by the number of days in the billing cycle, and you'll see her average daily balance is $1,441.60. That's important to know how to find that, because that is what your interest, if you don't pay your bill off for the whole month, I think that's what your interest is based on. So this is the same Rebecca from the last example. She pays a finance charge on her average daily balance at the end of her billing cycle. So we found her average daily balance to be $1,441.60. If her APR is 18%, what is her finance charge this month? So let's look here first. Average daily balance times the monthly interest rate, that's going to be equal to her finance charge. So the first thing we have to do is, since it says a month, we're going to convert the APR to her monthly interest rate by dividing that 18% by 12. So now we know that her monthly interest rate is 1.5% as a decimal, 0.015. That is how you find her monthly interest rate. This is how we plug it in the calculator. So, to find the finance charge for this month, her average daily balance, which you found in the last problem, times her monthly interest rate, which we, as a decimal, which you just found here, that equals her finance charge of $21.62. So how much does she owe, or another way to say that is, what is her balance at the end of the month? So it's her day 30 balance plus the interest, and that equals her new balance. So that's her balance the last day of the billing cycle, which we said $2,309.13 right there, the last day of the billing cycle, plus the interest charge that we just found. And so what she owes now is $2,330.75. Okay. Don't forget to do the worksheet, scan to make your notes, do the worksheet, and you can work on your project.